And welcome everybody. This is the Hawkeye trade session Wednesday night, 9:30. We'll go from 9:30 to probably 10:30-ish, maybe 11, depending on how things go, we have anything to show. But the disclaimer, trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendation will be provided, and any trade taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. And having said that, let's go to the charts. And switch charts here, and we're going to go with we had a couple alerts, and let's go with the last one first, and we'll just work our way down the list. Last one was at 7:30 tonight with the British US.
Yeah, we got a GU. Let's see. It's been moving really good lately.
Yeah,
like really good.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm seeing with this one. And actually, I do not have an entry on this yet, although I think I'm going to try and get this one set up for a buy limit.
I think that might be a good idea.
A buy limit right here. I've got it marked out for an entry at 30.16. So I'm going to set this for 30, bring this all the way down for 30.16 is where I'm going to look to try and get in.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a take profit, stop loss. I'm going to use a 10 pip stop, 2% of my account. And this is a demo account with a fictitious amount of money in it, which I'm not even sure what this one is. But anyway, I'm going to buy, limit, enter, and here it is. So, and here's what I'm looking at with this one. I'm going to use a 10 pip stop. I've got two targets set up, one for 10 pips and another one for 20 pips. Now, here's what I'm looking at is that we had the alert at 7:30, and it was a descending wedge. But even more importantly, what I'm looking at is now, as before, what I've seen, and actually I just changed this today because I'm just trying to see how this is going to work out. I've got this set at the, if you listen to Susan Batchelder at all, she uses 75 and 25. And I've got the 89 and 11 on the range of the RSI. What Susan does is that she doesn't take a trade. When she gets the alert, she draws the wedge, but she doesn't take a trade until it gets down to the 25 level to go long or the 75 level to go short. So I'm going to use those numbers for the orange, which is the 8-period moving average. I just still have the blue one, which is the 3-period. And you see where the blue one, it definitely kind of goes above 75 to 25, but usually goes up to the 89 to 11. So here's what I saw with this one. It was a descending wedge. And so this was the last pivot high before the day break. And so now we're into the new day. And so I went from a descending wedge. So I wanted to catch this trend down here. So I put my A up here, my B. I want to get this descending as well. So I have a descending wedge looking for a breakout. Now here's where it starts getting interesting, is that with the wedge, if you have we have divergence here. If you look here and see where this low is, and you see that it came up and made a lower low. But if you come down below here, you see this is a low, and it made a higher low. So that's your divergence. Now it's like the relative strength got strong here, one came back up, and then it came back down. It got weaker. Actually, it got weaker. I should say this is weaker. It got with the strength got weaker down here, but the price actually got lower. That's divergence. So you have a low, a lower low, and here's a low, with a higher low. So we have the divergence. So what I was looking at doing is that if I come up here and see where I had a pivot low, and actually you can probably see it's right here that where the B is, and I'm going to see where the 15-minute candle, the red part of the candle, where I can get a close above. Now this is all before the alert. So this, we're not taking any trades here because we didn't get the alert yet. But I'm going to use this as a reference to where the alert was, because this was the low. It came up. I don't want to take it long up here. If it breaks out of the wedge, I don't want to take it long until it breaks, until I get this area coming down lower here. So if you see here where this, we had the alert, it broke, but now that it broke this area, we're looking for the retest. If it comes back down and retest this area where we had the lowest RSI, and we have the divergence, I'm looking to get in right here, have a 10 pip stop, swing the bat, take a 10 pip stop, but this will be a 10 pip target, 20 pip target, and that's up here where where this move actually started. So I decided to take a buy on this one, but it hasn't been filled yet. Even like when I had this one, it came back, I had an order set here, it didn't fill. And so now we're going to see if the order gets filled here, and we're going to take another shot at it. The RSIs are coming down. If we can come down and get another hook, we should get us in the trade. The plan is, and this is more of a set and forget type of thing. I set this before I went and had a bite to eat, and I came back, still was not filled. I actually set it after we got the 5-minute close above this. That's when I set it, and it came back for the retest. So that's where we are. We're not in it yet. We'll see if it gets filled, and we'll take it from there. So that's what I'm doing with this one. And we can see now where we had the little crossover here where the British pound is the white one. British pound is the first currency of the pair, so that's showing some strength. Now they're switching positions here, so the dollar is getting stronger now, but not by much. And we'll see if this is going to go to the short side, or it's going to flip around and swing back, and see what we're going to do with that one. So it did break the wedge. It came up. We never got the higher.
There we go.
It never got up to the 75 area. So which means Susan would have never taken this yet. She wouldn't have taken it long. She wouldn't have taken it short yet either because it never got up to the 75. This one is kind of iffy. It's real close. It's like this one was like a 27, I think, or something like that on the downside. So she may have not even taken this one, even use that as a reference. But we're going to kind of try this out and see how this works a little bit. But we have the thing I like is I have the divergence. My stop is actually, I'm going to keep my stop just a little bit below this way because we have the divergence. We should start getting a nice little trend going up, and then we should have an area to follow this trend line. So I'm going to use this for a little trend, and we'll see if it comes down, gets me in. This, we have a low, a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we're going to see if this trend line is going to hold. We don't have our third hit yet, so I can actually take it on out to around this area. I'm going to see if this trend is going to develop as a trend. It should get me in, and then I should be able to get my stop 10 pips below. Any questions on that one? Any comments?
No, I'm just looking for a nice entry there. I'm looking for a bounce. I've got my wedge a little bit different than yours. So yeah. I've got my lower trend line at 1.3013.
1.3013 up your lower trend line.
Yeah.
Normally I would have used this one over here.
Yeah, that's
and there's really no reason why it could. It's still descending. Mm-hmm. It still gives us that area for the bounce. But this is really what I was looking for the divergence off of this move down here.
Yeah, see, I like that. I just made mine bigger. So it's just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to see if I get a bounce on there. Might have something interesting. But what are you looking for your buy? Are you about to buy right where you're at?
I'm about to
Because
buy right where I'm waiting for this to get filled is what I am. And you can see where this came up, it came back down. It never filled it, but did make a new high. And now it's looking to try to get, right now it haven't, our spreads are a little bit more right now. It's at 1.7. So I'm basically going to need 2 pips. It's going to need to break that by 2 pips in order to get me in. And I'm thinking that now if I can get this RSI to come all the way down here, and if by the time this RSI gets all the way down, it probably should get me in. But I don't. I'm planning on, or I'm expecting that this divergence is going to still hold off of
okay.
this one. And I'm looking at it to hold off here. Now this is still a live candle, so this one hasn't closed yet. So I'm still looking for the divergence. We have the same divergence. If you look at the 8 period RSI, you can see that it's still uptrending. So the 8's still uptrending, the blue one's still uptrending, and this is where it's looking to see if it's going to get me into this trade. If it doesn't get me in, well, it doesn't get me in, but if it gets me in, we should, I've got 20 pips to the upside, and I've got 10 pips to the downside for a stop. If I'm right, I should be able to get 20 pips out of this. If I'm wrong, I lose 10.
That's not bad. I took it on demo. I took a buy
And where did you take the buy?
just right now.
Just now? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're filled. I'm not filled yet.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
just market ordered. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
No messing around there.
Nah, I didn't. I didn't want to wait.
So anyway, this is what we're looking at. Now, if I go to a 5-minute chart, and just say it's the same situation, only we're looking at a little bit different picture here.
Yeah.
When we had the, let me go and I'm going to change this to 75, and I'm not sure the 60/40 is really serving us well these last few days anyway. So
Yeah, I think it's too tight.
I think, well, it was more for trying to develop where just you don't want to take trades while things were in that area because it was, but we can still say the same thing with the 60, 70, 75, and 25.
I like this. I like this, Al.
Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, still didn't get filled, but we have both of them here below the 75. This one came up to 75, came up, was rejected. The blue one crossed it. We still have the divergence so far. From here's the low, here's the low, here's the next pivot low over here. We can take that over this way. Take this one over this way, and then we still have a higher hook as it's going up. So we'll see what happens here. Anyway, that's how I drew this one out. The strength on the 5-minute is still showing strength to the dollar, which is the second currency of the pair, which shows strength to the downside. But you're also seeing that these things they're starting to flip around a little bit. The dollar came up. The pound was stronger all the way. You see how this is sort of flatlined. This was flatlined on the down move. This is flatlined on the up move. So now it's just a matter of which one's going to win. Again, this time of night, that's kind of somewhat to be expected. So, and so this could take a couple hours for this thing to develop, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's the British pound. So that's the first one. The next one we're looking at is the U.S. CAD.
That one will be terribly slow tonight.
Because Canadians are sleeping.
Yeah, most of us know, but because it's both North American pairs, it's not going to move very much until even after the London session starts. Even it won't move very much until like the New York session. So don't whatever you're doing, if you're getting into a trade in UCAD, you're going to be in there all night. So you can set a target and see if you want to run with something. But
yeah, see now with this one, what I did, I did pretty much the same thing, only in the opposite direction, opposite situation, where I'm looking at where the RSIs were down below here. Here's the 75. Here's the 25. Here's the 75. And so I'm looking at where the high and low. Here's a pivot low, here's a pivot high. So this is our playground right in here. And so what I'm looking at is that if this is where the high was and we had the alert, I'm looking to see, I'm going back to where the last pivot high was prior to the alert and using that for a reference point, which is right here. And so I'm using that and I'm looking at a trend. It was this one was a ascending wedge. So we're actually going from the A low and so the whole wedge is ascending, so it's climbing up. But I'm looking at this area where this was a high. Right now, again, here's the alert. I said, this is not the time of day to be being real aggressive with the trade. So I'm just seeing if there's something we can do this time of night to make it kind of fun anyway. So here's the alert. Again, Susan would not have gotten into this trade because it hasn't reached the 75 or the 25. So this would be, even though it's an alert, there's no trade there. But what she does now, what I gather what she will do though, she's going to look and see after the alert where we get the RSI to get to the top or to get to the bottom. And then she would be looking at taking the trade on with the bounce off that bottom. And she may redraw, I'm not sure how she's going to draw the wedge in this case, but I'm seeing where there's a pivot low here. And I'm just looking to, actually the low was here. Here's the first hit. So, and then we had this big move up. And now we're looking at, so this is the trend line. It's not validated yet because we don't have our third hit, but we can pull it all the way out here and we'll let the arrow wait and see if we can get a hit on this trend line. I usually like putting the arrow, I'm just gonna leave it right here for right now. I like having the arrow at the end of the third hit to validate it, but I'm just gonna keep it like that for right now. Here's the top, this is where this one was. Here's the top, here's the alert, here's the pivot just before the alert, it pulled back down, and this is the box that we're looking at. I'm looking at this 3-candle configuration where you have the pivot high, we have a low, actually this was engulfing, this blue candle was engulfing this red candle, and here's the bottom of this blue candle with the three, if you look at the last 3 candles, you'll see where this candle broke and this whole move down broke this part. So this is where I was looking at for a target in order to go short with this being the pullback. So I was looking for a break below this wedge, and I haven't been filled yet, but that's kind of what I'm looking at on this. But this is the playground we're looking at. This is the box. This is the bottom of the box, the top of the box, and we're right now at the top of this area. So if I take it short, I'm going to put 10 pips on the other side of it. If it breaks through this wedge, it broke, it hasn't closed yet, hasn't got me in yet. Well, actually, take it back, it did get me in. So I am in short, and I haven't been stopped out yet. And we're going to see if this consolidation here, this 10 pip range, if it's going to get me profitable if it comes back down here. If it breaks and closes below here, I should be good. If it comes and breaks and closes above the top of this, I'll probably get out and take the hit. But right now, there's really no trade, particularly here. I'm just looking to see if we can get something on these evening lower volatility times. This is a pretty big candle. I would much rather see a little bit of a better entry than that, but that's just the entry that we got. And again, we don't really have anything that helps to confirm that. And actually, this was sort of a set and forget. It just barely got me in right here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
1845 is the time of the alert, right, Al?
1845, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, it's 1848 to be exact.
Well,
so
that's because of the around that time they I don't know what it is.
They readjust the books.
Yeah, it screws something up.
Yeah. So anyway, here was where the alert was. And now if we could actually look and see let me change this one again too. I might just change them all but we'll address that some other time. And so we can look and see that here's the alert. We have a nice little, this is on the 1 minute. So this is you're going to see a lot of that fluctuation. But here's the pivot high. And this could probably, I mean, if you wanted to, you know, I don't like taking the trades with the, using this on the 1 minute because it's just too volatile.
Mm.
So let me go with the 5 minute here. That might be a little better. Let me move this one over to the 75. And see if we have right here. This one was right at 73 and a half. If you're looking for the exact, it didn't fill, but it came awfully close. Here's the 3 candle formation. Here's the pivot high. Here's the low. Now, if I use this after the alert from this one right here, I could have actually probably moved this over to the bottom of this blue candle. It would have got me in a little bit, probably a little bit better. It would give me a little bit better range, and I would probably up my target already. Let's see, it's 15 to 52 to 42. So that would have been, the target would have been 42. Not quite. Still wouldn't, it'd still be in the same area. Anyway, that's sort of what I've done with it. Right now, normally you would not take any trades because it really did not get up to the 75, especially, and use the 15 minute for that reference. And you see, I mean, it came close right here, but that was before the alert, and we haven't had anything since. So right now it's just going sideways, basing inside this range. There's really no trade to be taken.
Yeah, that's why I took a buy on demo.
And and that's really where we are with that one. So let's go to the next pair was the US Swiss. We have one with that, and I don't think I've even drawn that one out yet. So again, we're looking at the US Swiss 15-minute chart. Here was the alert at 1815, 1820. So let me go to a 5-minute chart and see if we can.
What are we
There's
doing?
1820 because there's okay, and it was a. I'm just gonna use the 5-minute chart to draw this out because we don't have. So we get the alert at the right spot. Oh, did we just get another alert? Nope, just refreshed. Okay. This, what are we on? We're on the US Swiss franc or US franc, Swiss. That was ascending. So ascending means we're going to start low to high. Our triangle tool go from, we go from pivot low to pivot high to pivot low. Tuck it into where the alert was. Let me see if we can do something a little bit better than that. I don't like this one right now at all. Ascending, I'm going to pull this one back a little bit. Pull this one up. I like this one a little bit better. It gives me a little bit more room for the alert. Looking for a, we do have the RSI on the 5-minute got up to the 75 area. And let's see what we have here with the strength. Here's our pivot candle. So I'm just going to move this on over here, right? That I'd like to see a break below this. I'm going to take it right here. I'm just use that for the reference.
Why do you want to see break before there?
Well, because that's where the RSI peaked. We had, this is the peak of the RSI.
And
it came down and it broke below.
I didn't see that the orange RSI, the slow RSI, was above 75. Okay.
The orange, yeah, the orange, yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. So that's good. So, and here's the, if you look at the 3 candle formation, when you're looking for pivot highs or pivot lows, you're looking for a 3 or a 5 candle formation. And I'm going to be looking at these three candles right. See, there's the middle one on the left, and one on the left, and one on the right. So, and so this is the main candle, and I'd like to see a close below there, and then that would be the end. Once I get the 5-minute close below this candle, I can move this one up to where the bottom of the wedge was. So here's our anchor. Here's our anchor. Here's a hit. Here's our hit. Here's our anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. That's the third hit. We have to break, have a 5-minute close. We could take this for the entry on this close and put our stop 10 pips above and 10 pips below. So let me go this down for our target. And I'm not really sure how this is all going to work out, but this is something I've just been playing with today here.
It's fine. It's demo, right? We're doing
It's demo.
doing some demo.
So
it's good to explore, right?
Right. So it's 91.34. So 91.34, 91.24. So here would be my 10 pip target. And these evening, it's big moves are not a whole lot of pips. With these ranges, 24 at 24.4. Okay, this would be target 1. And then my stop would be up here with 34 to 50 to 44. Here's my 10 pip stop. You can see we have a lot of room before this thing does anything tonight. There's my stop. So that would have got me in. And now it's looking like, now we're seeing whether it's it can break to come in and give me my 10 pips profit. Again, everything is still pretty much in the middle of everything. This would be being really aggressive, trying to do a pivot high. This one is the first one I'd be looking at, but since the alert, it made another pivot high. This was, if we have a choice, take the one after the alert. We have the RSI came on up, cut the hook, and you got the close below this middle candle. Or actually, the close you're really looking for is this close below here's the first candle, there's a second candle, here's the third candle. You want to see it close below the body of the first candle of that 3-candle range. And this is right, so this is really just going sideways right through here, but it does have a little bit of a downtrend. Because remember, the RSIs generally go from top to bottom. And it's like, here's the bottom, there's the top. This one just sort of hung around the middle, top, and looking for this to come down to the bottom. And there is a little bit of a trend coming on down. So this would be the wedge. And then we're looking for a nice even trend. Again, this time of night, you don't get a lot of movement. We're just doing the best we can to try and give us something a picture to look at, to maybe think about even when the volatility gets to be where we've been getting stopped out, and we don't want to be doing that. And we want to have some other odd enhancers that may help to qualify some of these trades. And so let's see, the next one, did we do this one? Did we do the yen? I can't remember if we did this one yet.
We didn't do the yen, no.
Okay, so the yen was the ascending wedge at 6 o'clock. We got it right there at 6 o'clock, ascending. A starts down low, come up to the B. Here's the daybreak right here. So we're going to go from A to B to C to D. Here's our area of operation. We had the divergence off of this one. And so we're looking pretty much to go from the wedge, we're looking for the break to go to the long side. And I was using this for the reference, and I never really got filled here, I don't think. It may have gotten filled. From there, that's 13. That's only 13 to 12. That's only 1 pip. We have a 1.2 pip spread. I don't think that would have gotten filled. But this is where we were looking at the low. Here's the area where I was looking at to Here's a pivot low. I want to see it close above the top of this candle. It did come down after the alert, came down, didn't fill me. Actually, this would have been the area right here.
You would
I
make
would use, I would use this one for the. I've used this one for the area to go to buy it, and it never did fill it. It wouldn't have filled it then. But this would have been the area 105.10 and 105.0. That'd be the stop to go long, and then target 1, target 2. At 101.10, so this one, target 1 would be at 20. That would have, had I gotten filled here, which I did not, it would hit the target there. And then this would be the next target at 30. And that would just about have made that one. So other than the fact we didn't get filled, that would have been a nice little trade. We had the divergence. I really like seeing when we get the divergence where we have strong move down, breaks a pivot low, lower low with a higher RSI. That's usually a pretty good indication. That's a good trade if you can get into those. In this case, it just never filled.
Your UCAD's looking good. You were in the sell, yeah?
I was in a sell. Yep. I got Manchi was here. My stop was up here. I got filled, and I'm still looking for we have the wedge. We had a nice pivot break. Came back down, came up, retested the wedge, and now it's looking like it needs to get through this area. We haven't confirmed our third hit off this trend line yet. We're looking for that somewhere around in here. So we don't have the third hit on that one. And on this one, we have the anchor. Here's the hit. And we have a lower high, barely about an equal high. Probably take it over on that one. Here's where the alert was. It did breached up, broke up, couldn't close above, and now it was rejected. Now it's trading inside this region right in here. I just barely got in on this candle here. Just barely got in on it. But I'm still looking at it to go short. Any questions so far?
No, thank you.
Now, Pedro was nice enough to give us a chart that he did of the US CAD. Let's take a look at that one, see how he did, and see how his.
Thanks, Pedro.
So, and he drew the wedge pretty much the same way that we did. Now he decided to go long with it. Is that correct, Pedro?
Yes, Al. That's correct.
Yeah, he decided to go long. So basically, he had the alert. He drew the wedge.
I got in at 13.017.
13.0 1.3017.
Yes.
Oh, you got it way down here. Wait, 3073. 1.30. That's all the way down below.
Oh yeah, that's
the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
that's okay.
I'm gonna say, wow, where'd you do that one?
Yeah, that would have been like last week or something.
Excuse me, Al. You see the box to the right of his stick?
The box to the right of
It says that has angle 90
Bars,
degrees.
distance.
this one. Oh, that one.
That's the box I was talking about.
All right, Matt, where do you find that box?
I don't know. I've never seen that box.
All right, Pedro, where'd you get that box? This was a topic of conversation between Christine and I today.
What box?
This box right here, where you have the angle and the bar distance.
Yeah, that's just a trending. There was like a candlestick that I was using to measure. So that doesn't mean anything. I would disregard that.
But how did that get generated? How did that box get generated?
Oh, it's part of this candlestick that I use when I use the info line. The info line trend line.
This isn't TradingView, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's TradingView.
This is TradingView? So is there a setting on TradingView to get that?
I have no idea. It's like I have to know how that comes out.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
all right. So the quest for the information still continues, I guess.
But at least you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, we were talking. She was talking about it having this where the angle was, and I think it was measuring the angle of where the RSI came down, and the current angle of the RSI, and we were trying to figure out how. I think we found the setting on the RSI, but I'm not sure. Well,
Right, but not the whole rest of it.
yeah. Anyway, we'll continue with that. We'll figure that one out if we
Mystery
need
to
to.
solve.
So anyway, I believe you said you took it long, and so where was your entry on this one? Is my question.
Was 1.31505.
50. So you got in up. You took a long up in here.
Yeah, 1.31505.
315.
05.
Basically 3150. Let's call it 1.3150.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be pretty much the alert. So you probably were looking at it as. I'm just trying to figure out what what got you to take the trade at 131.50.
The reason
I
was
could see maybe a bounce off of the 62, maybe.
and
That'd be a possibility.
I was
It came up and you came back down, gave you a bounce off the 62, and you took it long on that way, which would not be a bad idea. All the moving averages are in the right direction to go long. And so let me move this way and let me see if I can see on my
And
chart
what,
here.
UCAD?
Yeah, this is UCAD.
Yeah, I'm in long on demo.
See, I got it. See, I just got in short up here. Or actually, I got in short down here on this break and use it on 50. So let me mark the 50 area here. So here's the alert. You got in at 3150. 15 minutes. Let me go to a 5-minute chart and see if this makes any sense.
and the reason was because I looked at the parallel lines at the.
Oh, yeah. So you were doing those parallel, the parallels like Matt was doing earlier today.
Yes.
Channel.
The
The
channels.
Channels. And then I looked at the 3062, at the 1562, and at the 562, and it seemed to me that that it would make sense following the trend that it was going to go up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it does have an upward trend. This is actually sort of the channel. We have a couple different. A second, let me see who this. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me just take this off here, and we have a trend here. This was the upper trend line. This is high right before the wedge. Came back down, and we had another trend. This was the bigger picture trend over here. But we also have another one that could go with this is the pivot low before the daybreak. And that probably would have been a little bit closer to where you would have gotten in at 50. Right off of here. I could see where this area. What time did you get into the trade? Do you remember? The anchor, here's a hit. Here's the third hit right off of this one right there. And then we have the break.
I got in at 740.
740. That'd be right. $740 right there is where you got in. Okay, so you got in pretty much right off this that candle in there. Actually, probably would have almost gotten your 7 pips out of that one if you didn't already.
Yeah,
As well as 4 pips from that area. That's
Oh,
only 4 pips.
yeah.
And right now it's still in the middle of no man's land here, so we'll see what this thing does. You get a break here. Is it still? Here's a low. Here's a high. Here's a, let's see, high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high. So here's where this thing starts switching directions, right in here. Actually has pretty much an equal, well, for all practical purposes, we'll call that an equal high to this one. And then we have a low, higher low, higher low. So now this is a triangle that it's working its way through to the end of this peak here. Ideally, I would have liked to have gotten in short. Here's another 62 here. So this would be, that would have been a better area to get to sell after the wedge alert. This one right in here. This one's starting to confirm. So this, because right now we have this thing's starting to slope down. If you look at this RSI here, has a slight slope down. This isn't really divergence, but I just want to show that. Here's a high, lower high. Actually, this is the divergence here. It peak up there, which is right here. Had a little bit of a higher high with a lower. This is lower. This one's lower. So this part is actually starting to confirm this little divergence up here. You understand how that works? Whether you have a higher but yet lower here. This one's higher, or over the other one, it was like lower price, but on the bottom it was a lower divergence. It has a divergence on the bottom. Same thing, only from the upper part versus the lower part of the trade.
Yeah, I see.
And we're still trading the box, and we still have our target set. And we'll see where this one takes. Like I said, this could go on like this for another 3 or 4 hours, actually. So we'll see how it takes out. Any questions so far? Oh, we've been at this almost 45 minutes already. Or an hour and 15 minutes, I should. No, 45 minutes.
Yeah, not quite an hour and something yet.
Yeah, but time goes by when you're having fun.
Generally.
Now it's going to be interesting to see if it can break through this, or if this is going to give us our third hit on. See if it can break through that. It needs to get all the way. It needs to break through this area right down here. See if it comes down and tests the 62. If it tests the 62, it's probably going to get a bounce off the 62. In which case, by that time, this trade may be profitable, and I would probably just pull it off unless the 62 can get broken. But right now, all these are in the right direction. We're starting to get the 62 and the 1362 cross. That's a big factor. That will give us all 3 of these in the correct direction.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you make a little bit of a retrace to retest the 13 moving average, and then a lot of times it'll drop off that way.
Looks like I might get stopped out on UCAD. Just demo though.
Which way did I just say I took you? This is one. Yeah, this is one I took short. It's still, I took it short. Took some heat on it. Came very close to stop me out, but it held.
Another alert.
Hey,
You want me to check it out, or you guys want?
we could probably just do that one. Let's see, Aussie US. Let's take a look at that one.
That will move. That's actually so that and the Kiwi US at this time of the day is actually something that I would actually consider trading.
Okay, let's take a look at this one, Aussie US. Here we go. I'll put this one over here on the active one that we're looking at. We're going to clean it up, the chart. And we have nice strong move coming down there. So this is a ascending wedge. Vertical line. And this was at 22.15. So that's this candle right here. So this is the active candle. Here's my alert. Ascending. So we're going to go from low to high. Nice strong move down. Now it's spacing right in here. This was the day break. Day opened and it dropped right on down, forming this area. We have a hook down here. With the RSI's got to the extreme area. And so we're looking to see if this thing's going to retest. So I don't like trying to get above this candle. That's a big, big candle. I like to see this happen down here one more time with maybe a little bit lower candle to work with. Here's a low, here's a high, here's the next low, next high, and there's our wedge, and it was ascending. So we have the wedges moving up, and we're looking to see if we're going to get a break. Now, again, if this thing breaks, see how if these things, I'd like to see this RSI come down to the 75, give me a 3 candle formation, and have it get my entry to go long. That's what I'd be looking at on this one. I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it short when it's this close to the extreme on this RSI. Take it short up here. Down here, I want to see if I can get away to take it long. Now, as long as this is breaking out of the wedge where the alert was, but still has to get through this where this A point is. This is still a valid spot that we need to get through that. Look at our moving averages, or our moving averages. Everything's pointing down on the 15-minute. Let's see what it looks like on the other time frames. And we have all of our RSIs are moving in the right direction on that one, and they're all moving in the right direction. So all the moving averages are moving in the right direction to go short. We have the strength. The U.S. is strong. U.S. second currency of the pair. Strength to the downside, strength to the downside, strength to the downside. This may be actually this may be a short. I would look and see if it comes down, have the RSIs move, at least have the blue one move up, give us a hook before we take it short. See how this goes. Let me get this on a different chart here. Aussie US. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I'd be looking to see this thing give, I might be looking for some divergence on this. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. It says got to, I'd like to see I want to see how it's going to react off of this A. From here, this is at 71.34 to 71.29. This is only 5 pips. From the break of this to down here's 5 pips. Right now, I wouldn't call this a real high probability trade to the extreme, to the downside. Let's go over here and see where we may have some other targets to, if it does break, see where our targets may be. Let's come over here. I'm going to put this on a higher time frame so I can see where the bounces are. Here's where our price is right now. We have this, take a look at this one. Big, strong move down, came back. Here's the bottom of it. Came back up. This was a nice big wick of reach. So this is an area right in here, right where it's at right now, that I would be wanting to respect. This one right here. And that's back from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. So I'd be looking at this area. This is on a 3-hour chart, so keep that in mind. We're looking at this as an area of demand. Go back to our 15-minute chart. It would have to, there was a lot of wicks right in this area. There were a lot of buyers way back over here. There were a lot of buyers. See if we can tweak this up a little bit. Strong move out, basing, came back down, retested it. Now we're coming right in this area, so we may be able to respect this area, this one right here. Potential buy zone. Let's see where the RSI was over here. Yep, they were all the way down here on that one. It hasn't really reached it again since. Let's see, let's move it right on around here. There we go. And we'll see what this thing will do. It's coming right, it's breaking down right into demand is what it's doing. I would prefer to see this thing come down, hook, and then get in on a candle, on a red candle, get a pivot, the last 3 candles, get a pivot, and then be able to close above the last red candle with the close above it. So right now I would be looking at a close. I'm going to move this down as price changes. This would be the area I'd be looking to enter to go long. But again, I'm waiting for this to come down and hook. If it doesn't come down into this 25 area and then hook, I don't want to get this. I wouldn't want to get into this trade until that happens. And I'd be looking to go long because this is where the RSIs are. We had a low and see if we can get, right now we'd have to respect this candle right here because of this hook down here. But if we can get this RSI to come down a little bit lower, then that would give us the opportunity to maybe find another little pivot low as it challenges this area right down in here. And now we wait. This does have the potential of being a good trade, but I would say more to the upside than to the downside. I like to see these flip around where the Aussie is stronger. And really, right now, all the price action is inside this red candle here. For all practical purposes. This is the box. There we go. So I just want to see a breakout of the box. And right now we have Right now, we don't have a whole lot of anything to go on right now. There's the low, near hit, came back up, retested. This is the range we're looking at. This could be a trap down in here.
Hey, Al, would you be concerned with 30-minute 60 moving average, the 30-minute 62 moving average with a buy that could bounce off?
Off of this, for a buy to go up to this one?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Let's see how much room we have. Well, here's the 16. There's a 15, 62.
So if it broke that, there would be.
Yeah, and right now there's 16 pips to the downside here. So there's enough room to get your 7 pips up to that one if it goes. But you are going somewhat contra trend, that's for sure. You may be better off and having it come on up to retest this area and then take it short. So basically maybe having this thing going up to take it short from that direction. Right now the range of this box right here is that's 25 pips. Let's see where our fib lines are. Red fib here, greens. This is let me see if I got the right time frame on this. That's on 5 minutes. So these should be 21 pips apart between the red and the green. This would be the demand. This one should be this is the range. It's actually pretty much hanging right into that range there. If it breaks the screen, it could head down to this blue line. Here's the green, here's the blue. So this is the 7 pips below where the A is. That's the 7. So it'll be the 7 pip overshoot. This would be. I would certainly expect to bounce off of this. Right now, it's still respecting this little blue line right here that we drew way back over here. Still no trade, not yet. One bad thing about some of these sessions is we're so anxious to try and get into a trade, and it takes sometimes. We saw a couple of them today that looked like it actually went for a couple hours before it actually ever materialized, and evenings are even worse. So you don't want to be too quick on the draw, especially on these really slow market times. And we don't want to be taking trades and doing it because all it does is it programs our brains to say, "Oh, it's okay to take it," when it's really not okay to take the trades. That's one thing you have to be careful of when you're in demo is that you start saying, well, I'm going to take this and let me see what happens, but you're really programming your muscles and your brain to take those. And then when you go to live trading, you find out that you're taking them when you say, why did I take that trade? Right, Matt?
Yeah. Sorry. I was a little bit tired at this point.
That probably just put you to sleep.
No. No, I was just tired.
Let's see how our CAD trade's doing here. Well, it came down. It's not behaving very well from my standpoint.
It's looking good for us.
Well, it's still inside this whole zone here. Again, it could stay in this range for the next several hours. Let's see what a 5-minute looks like here. The whole range between the top and the bottom of this wedge right now, top to bottom, it's only 12 pips. So if you're trying to get 7 pips, you don't have a lot of wiggle room.
That would be how much, the dog can come in, correct?
What was that, Christine?
Nothing, I made a mistake. Forget about it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. Any other questions? Anybody have any questions, comments? Anybody else want something else to look at, perhaps?
One moment. The green arrow that's on your chart, what's that for?
Oh, that was my entry to go short. And actually, I got filled right on that candle right here is where I got filled. So I got filled pretty much right at the bottom of, that was before I drew this one. Yeah.
I thought you got filled where that little red arrow is pointing down at the candle next to it. Yeah, like you see right above.
Well, this was the candle I got filled on, that little red arrow right there.
Yeah.
That's the candle I got filled on. I just marked it. A lot of times I don't even see that because they're so small. But
Right.
here's where my fill was, right here. And I got filled just in time for it to retrace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I do like about this still is that I had divergence up at the top, and I've got a nice little trend going right in here.
Mm-hmm.
So with this low to high, there's a low, and we're going to just tweak this, flatten this out on the bottom. Actually, I'm going to run it right over here to no. I can put it right on that. Actually, I'm trying to do is try and align. Can take it from here. I'm trying to align the D with the, oh crap, with this little trend right through here. If I get a break out of the bottom of the A, or actually this area right in here, I'm just trying to bring this D to where it's aligned straight with the AC line and still catching these pivots on this downtrend. That's actually what I'm trying to do here. And if it can break through the bottom of this, then I'm looking at a target. But the target is probably going to end up being a bounce off of this 30-minute 62.
Yeah.
Anchor, here's a hit. And I'm looking for the next hit to be somewhere up in here. A lot of wicks. You can see there, you don't see too many. If you look through at these candles, you don't see a lot of bodies. You see a lot of wicks though.
Yeah.
That's the type of area you just want to kind of stay out of, unless you're just willing to do a set and forget and give yourself the wiggle room based on the price action.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of range right now.
But even that much is pretty good for now. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like
but
there hasn't been that much, but I don't know.
I figure for the last hour and 35 minutes, it hasn't gone more than 11 pips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should you be checking for a pulse or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We got a little bit of a breach down there. Off of this one. Anchor, here's a hit. And a break. This is the third hit of the trend line. Now the question is it going to pass and check it or not? Right now on the last 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. So the last 20 minutes, it hasn't moved, but 3 pips.
Oh man, it's worse than watching paint dry.
And that's like half. That's like 2/3 of what the spread is. Or about half. The spread is about it's about twice as much as the spread.
Wow.
But like I said, you're seeing where the price action, how to figure out where the trends are, and then a lot of it's just going to be a matter of being patient. It's even like with the RSI down here, it's we really didn't get to the 25, we really didn't get to the 75 and all this, and that was all within about an 11 pip trend range. We have here's our peak, a lower high, and we have another. So the trend is still, from the RSI standpoint, the trend is still functional. From a currency standpoint, the CAD is still stronger, not by a lot, but still stronger to the downside on the 5-minute. And it's still stronger by 2 on the 15, stronger by 1 on the 5, and stronger by 1 on the 1 minute.
Well, Al, I'm gonna call it a night.
Okay, well, I think we may want to just call it a night too. It's been over an hour. It's still going really, really slow. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, want to see something, talk about anything before we go?
I want to see some profits, Al.
Well, let's see, did I get any profits? Did I get any profits tonight? I don't know.
I didn't get none. I got 2 trays that are sitting, and one's got 2 pips drawdown, the other one's 4 pips drawdown.
This one, I think. Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't have anything open on that anything. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how things play out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So on that note, let's call it a night.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, Matt.
And thanks for showing up, guys. And we will see everybody tomorrow.
Bright and early tomorrow morning. We're gonna make some money. Catch you guys later.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, bye, guys.
Well, guys.
Good night.